The large, box-shaped ship floated quietly in space. From the outside, it looked plain and simple, like a giant metal container. This was the HSS Remembrance, humanity's newest warship. While other alien ships had fancy designs with curves and sharp angles, the human ship was just a big rectangle. It didn't look special at all. Captain Sunho Park stood on the bridge of his ship, looking out at the stars through the big front window. His black uniform was clean and pressed, showing his pride in his position. He was a tall man with short black hair, and his dark eyes held both wisdom and determination. At 45 years old, he had seen many battles, but this mission was different. This time, humanity's future depended on his success. "Captain, we're getting another message from the aliens," said Mina Lee, who worked at the communication station. She was young, maybe 25, with her hair tied back in a neat bun. Her fingers moved quickly over the glowing control panel as she worked. "They're making fun of our ship again." Sun Ho walked over to her station and looked at the message. He wasn't angry about the aliens' words. Instead, a small smile appeared on his face. "Let me hear it," he said calmly. Mina pressed a button, and a harsh, deep voice filled the bridge. "Humans, your ship looks like a storage box. Did you run out of metal to make a proper warship? Or perhaps you're carrying supplies to surrender?" The alien's laugh was rough and unfriendly. The front screen showed the enemy fleet, the HFY Armada. There were more than 300 ships out there, all arranged in a half-moon shape. Each alien ship looked like a piece of art, with shiny, rainbow-colored metal surfaces and elegant designs. Next to them, the HSS Remembrance really did look like a simple box floating in space. Tactical report. Sun Ho called out to his weapons officer. Jae-won Kim looked up from his station. He was a serious man in his 30s who had served with Sun Ho for many years. "All our systems are working perfectly, Captain. The new quantum fold drive is ready." He paused and added with a small grin, "It's running as quiet as a sleeping cat." Sun Ho nodded and walked to the center of the bridge. Around him, 20 crew members worked at their stations. Each person knew their job well. They had trained for months for this mission. The bridge was large and bright, with clean white walls and neat rows of control panels. Everything looked simple and practical, just like the outside of the ship. "Young Mi," Sun Ho called to his pilot, "show me our position." Young Mi Song, the ship's pilot, touched her screen. A new image appeared on the main display, showing where their ship was compared to the alien fleet. She was the youngest person on the bridge at 23, but her skills at flying the ship were amazing. "We're holding steady, Captain. The enemy fleet hasn't changed position." The captain walked to the front of the bridge and looked out at the enemy ships again. The HFY had been attacking human colonies for 6 months now. They had destroyed 3 farming colonies and 2 mining stations. Thousands of people had died. The aliens thought they were stronger because they had better technology and more ships. They expected humans to give up and surrender, but they didn't understand humans very well. "Captain," Mina called out, "Admiral Kang is calling from Earth Command." Sun Ho straightened his uniform. "Put him on screen." The image of the enemy fleet disappeared, replaced by the face of Admiral Do-han Kang. The admiral was an older man with gray hair and a serious face. "Captain Park, status report." "Everything is going according to plan, Admiral," Sun Ho replied. "The HFY are exactly where we want them. They think we're desperate and weak." The admiral nodded slowly. "The fate of Earth depends on this mission, Captain. The quantum fold drive must work. Our scientists and engineers spent 5 years developing it. If it fails, it won't fail, sir," Sun Ho said firmly. "The crew of the Remembrance understands what's at stake. We've trained for this. We're ready." "Very well." The admiral's face softened a little. "The president wants you to know that if this works, you'll have saved not just Earth, but all our colonies. Good luck, Captain Park." Earth Command out. The screen went dark for a moment, then showed the enemy fleet again. Sun Ho turned to look at his crew. Each face showed determination and courage. They all knew this mission was dangerous. The quantum fold drive had never been tested in battle before. But they also knew they had to try. "Captain," Jai-1 called out suddenly, "3 enemy ships are moving toward us." Sun Ho watched as 3 of the shiny alien ships broke away from their fleet. They were shaped like arrowheads, with glowing blue engines at the back. Each one was 3 times bigger than the Remembrance. "They're powering up their weapons," Jai-1 reported. His voice was calm, but his hands tightened on his control panel. "Hold position," Sun Ho ordered. "Let them come to us." The bridge was quiet as everyone watched the enemy ships get closer. The Kryvax ships were beautiful but deadly. Their weapons could cut through normal ship armor like it was paper, but the Remembrance wasn't a normal ship. "Enemy ships are in range," Jai-1 said. "They're charging their main guns." Sun Ho sat in his captain's chair. "Mina, open a channel to the enemy ships." "Channel open, sir." "This is Captain Sun Ho Park of the HSS Remembrance," he said clearly. "We see your weapons are ready to fire. Are you sure you want to do this?" A harsh laugh came through the speakers. The screen changed to show a Kryvax commander. The alien was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. "Your bravery is amusing, human," the alien said. "One of our ships could destroy your box easily. We have 3 here, and hundreds more behind us." "Numbers aren't everything," Sun Ho replied calmly. "Surrender now," the alien commander said. "If you give up, we might let your crew live as slaves. If you resist, we will destroy you." Sun Ho smiled. It wasn't a happy smile, but a knowing one. "You're right about one thing," he said. "Our ship does look like a box. Some people even call it a coffin." He stood up from his chair. "But do you know what coffins are for?" The alien commander looked confused. "They are for your dead, yes." "Exactly," Sun Ho said. "They're for the dead. Remember that." He made a cutting motion with his hand, and Mina closed the channel. "Enemy ships are firing," G1 shouted. 3 beams of bright blue energy shot from the alien ship straight at the Remembrance. Everyone on the bridge watched calmly as the beams hit their ship. There was no explosion, no damage. The beams seemed to sink into the ship's hull and disappear. "What?" The alien commander's voice came through again, full of surprise. "Impossible. Fire again." More energy beams hit the Remembrance. Again, nothing happened. The ship's special hull, designed by Earth's best scientists, absorbed the energy attacks like a sponge, soaking up water. "Should we show them what our box can really do, Captain?" Young Mei asked from the pilot's station. There was excitement in her voice. Sun Ho nodded. "G1, power up the defensive systems. Show them what happens when they punch a hornet's nest." Jai-1 pressed several buttons on his panel. The ship hummed as its systems came to life. The energy the aliens had shot at them wasn't wasted. The Remembrance's hull had stored it all, ready to use. "Systems charged and ready," Jai-1 reported with a smile. "Fire." The Remembrance didn't have normal weapons like other ships. Instead, panels all over its simple box shape opened up. The stored energy from the alien attacks shot back out, but now it was colored bright green, changed by the ship's special systems. The green beams hit all 3 enemy ships at once. The alien ship's shields flickered and died. Their beautiful metal hulls cracked and split. In less than 10 seconds, all 3 ships were badly damaged, floating dead in space. "Enemy ships disabled," Jai-1 reported. "Their weapons and engines are destroyed. Life support is still working. Their crews will survive." "Send a message to the main fleet," Sun Ho ordered Mina. "Tell them this was just a small demonstration. Tell them our box has many more surprises inside." As Mina sent the message, Sun Ho looked at the main screen again. The Kryvax fleet was still arranged in their half-moon formation. They thought this shape made their ships strongest for fighting. They didn't know that they were arranging themselves exactly how the humans wanted them. Quantum full drive status, Sun Ho asked. Drive is charged and ready, Jai 1 answered. Just waiting for your order, Captain. Sun Ho nodded slowly. Phase 1 of their plan was complete. They had shown the aliens that their simple-looking ship was stronger than it appeared. Now it was time for Phase 2. The real reason the ship was called a Coffin. Send a message to Earth Command, he told Maina. Tell them the trap is almost ready. The Kryvax are about to learn why you should never judge a book by its cover or a warship by its shape. The crew of the Remembrance continued their work, each person focused on their task. Outside, the stars shone quietly, watching as humanity prepared to show the galaxy that sometimes the simplest-looking solution could be the most powerful one of all. The damaged Kryvax ships floated silently in space. Their once beautiful metal surfaces were now cracked and dark. The main Kryvax fleet watched from a distance, not moving. For the first time since they had started attacking human colonies, the aliens seemed unsure what to do. Captain Sun Ho Park stood on the bridge of the HSS Remembrance, watching the main screen carefully. He had served in Earth's space fleet for 20 years, but he had never seen the Kryvax hesitate like this before. Their usual way was to attack quickly and strongly, using their better technology to win easily. Now they were being careful, and that was exactly what the humans wanted. Captain, Maina Lee called from her communication station. We're getting a lot of signals from the enemy fleet. They're talking to each other, trying to figure out what happened to their ships. Sun Ho smiled slightly. Let them talk. The more time they spend trying to understand our ship, the better. He turned to his tactical officer. J1, how long until the quantum fold drive is fully charged? Jai-1 Kim checked his screens carefully. 1 hour and 20 minutes, Captain. The drive needs time to store enough energy for something this big. The quantum fold drive was humanity's newest and most secret weapon. Normal spaceships used engines to move through space, like boats moving through water. But the quantum fold drive was different. Instead of moving the ship, it could fold space itself, like folding a piece of paper to bring two farpoints together. But the Remembrance's drive could do even more than that. It could create a whole new pocket of space, like adding an extra room to the universe. The aliens didn't know any of this yet. Young Me, Sun Ho called to his pilot. Show me the enemy fleet's position again. Young Me Song brought up a new picture on the main screen. It showed all the ships in the area as small dots of light. The Kryvax fleet was still in their half-moon shape, but now they were farther away from the Remembrance. The 3 damaged ships were small dots between the two sides. They've moved back by 2,000 kilometers, Young Mai reported. They're staying in formation, but keeping their distance. Sun Ho nodded. This was good. The Kryvax were proud warriors who never retreated. Moving back showed that they were confused and worried, but their pride would not let them leave completely. They would stay and try to figure out how to beat this strange human ship. Message from the Kryvax fleet commander. Maina announced. They want to talk. Put them on screen, Sun Ho ordered. The main screen changed to show the Kryvax commander again. The alien's 4 eyes were narrow with anger. How did your primitive ship survive our weapons? He demanded. What technology are you using? That would be telling. Sun Ho replied calmly. Let's just say that humanity has learned a lot since you started attacking our colonies. We've had time to study your weapons and find ways to defend against them. The alien commander's gray skin turned darker with anger. Impossible. Our technology is far superior to yours. Those ships you damage were just scout vessels. Our main fleet carries much stronger weapons. Then why haven't you used them yet? Sun Ho asked. His voice was still calm, but there was a challenge in his words. The alien didn't answer right away. All 4 of his eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of frustration in his species. Finally, he spoke again. We offer you one last chance. Surrender your ship to us. Tell us how you defeated our scouts. If you do this, we will spare your colonies." Sun Ho shook his head. "No, we have a different offer. Leave human space now, and we'll let you go in peace. Stay, and you'll find out what else our primitive ship can do." The alien commander made a harsh sound that might have been a laugh. "You dare to threaten us? We have 300 ships. Your one vessel, no matter how surprising, cannot stand against our full fleet." "Numbers aren't everything," Sun Ho said again. "You should think carefully about why we might have built our ship this way. Why would humans, who you think are so primitive, make a warship that looks like a simple Vox?" Before the alien could answer, Sun Ho nodded to Mina. She cut off the communication. The screen went back to showing the fleet positions. "They're moving again," Young Mai reported. "The fleet is spreading out their formation. They're trying to surround us." This was exactly what Sun Ho had expected. The Kryvax always used the same tactics when they were unsure about an enemy. They would spread out their ships in a big circle, trying to trap their opponent in the middle. Then they would attack from all sides at once. "Let them come," Sun Ho said. He pressed a button on his chair's arm. "Engineering, this is the captain. How are the hull energy stores looking?" Chief Engineer Han Gyeol-ryu's voice came through the speaker. He was in the engine room, deep inside the ship. "Energy stores are at 98%, Captain. Those scout ships gave us quite a power boost when they shot at us. We can take a lot more hits before we need to release any energy." "Good. Keep monitoring the quantum fold drive. Let me know if anything changes." "Yes, sir. Everything's running smoothly down here." Sun Ho looked around his bridge. His crew was working quietly and efficiently. They all knew the plan. They had practiced it hundreds of times in simulations. But this was real, and everything had to be perfect. "Captain," Jai-1 called out suddenly, "I'm detecting power spikes from the enemy fleet. They're charging weapons." On the main screen, the Kryvax ships were still moving slowly into their circle formation. Small lights began to appear all over their hulls as their weapons powered up. It was an impressive sight. 300 warships, all preparing to fire at once. "All hands, battle stations," Sun Ho ordered calmly. Red lights began flashing around the bridge, and a low alarm sound filled the ship. "Young Me, hold our position. Mina, send the coded signal to Earth Command. Let them know Phase 2 is starting." The crew worked quickly but without panic. They had trained for this. They knew what to do. "Enemy ships in final position," Young Mai reported. "They've completely surrounded us." The main screen showed the Kryvax fleet now arranged in a perfect circle around the Remembrance. Their ships glowed with weapon energy, ready to fire. They thought they had trapped the human ship. They didn't realize they were putting themselves exactly where the humans wanted them. "Incoming transmission from the fleet commander," Mina said. "Ignore it," Sun Ho ordered. "They just want to demand our surrender again. We're done talking." He stood up from his chair and walked to the front of the bridge. "G1, what's the status of the quantum fold drive?" 55 minutes until full charge, Captain." "But," Jai-1 paused, checking his readings carefully. "The energy from their charged weapons. If they fire at us all at once, we might be able to use that power. It could cut our charging time in half." Sun Ho nodded slowly. This was another part of the plan. The Remembrance's special hull didn't just absorb enemy weapon fire. It could use that energy to power its own systems. The more the Kryvax shot at them, the stronger they would become. "They're firing," G1 shouted. The space around the Remembrance lit up as 300 energy beams shot toward the ship from all directions. The bridge crew watched calmly as the beams hit their hull. Just like before, there were no explosions, no damage. The ship's hull absorbed all the energy, glowing slightly as it stored the power. "Hull energy stores are now at maximum," Jai-1 reported excitedly. "And the quantum fold drive. Captain, the drive is charging much faster than we expected. All this energy. We'll be ready in 20 minutes." The alien ships fired again. And again. Each time, the remembrance absorbed the energy. Its hull began to glow brighter, changing from its usual gray color to a soft green. "They're getting frustrated," Maina said, listening to the alien communications. "They don't understand why their weapons aren't working. The fleet commander is ordering them to use everything they have." Sun Ho smiled. Everything was going perfectly. The Kryvacs were doing exactly what humanity had hoped they would do. Their pride and anger were making them predictable. "Captain," Young Mei called out, "look at their formation." The main screen showed that the Kryvac ships were moving closer, tightening their circle around the remembrance. They thought they needed to get closer to hurt the human ship. Instead, they were just making the trap easier to spring. "Quantum full drive at 70% and rising fast," Jai 1 reported. 15 minutes until we can activate it." Sun Ho looked at his crew. They were all watching him, waiting for his next order. He could see the pride and determination in their faces. They had trained so hard for this mission. Now it was almost time. "Send one last message to the Kryvacs," he told Maina. "Tell them, thank you for the energy. And thank you for arranging your ship so perfectly. You've made our job much easier." As Maina sent the message, Sun Ho walked back to his chair and sat down. Soon, the Kryvacs would learn why humans had designed their ship to look like a coffin. Soon, they would understand that sometimes the simplest-looking thing could be the most dangerous. 10 minutes until quantum full drive is ready," Jai 1 announced. The remembrance floated quietly in space, surrounded by the Kryvacs fleet. From the outside, it still looked like a simple metal box. But inside that box was humanity's greatest weapon, almost ready to show itself. The trap was about to. The bridge of the HFY Remembrance was quiet except for the soft beeping of computers and the low hum of the ship's systems. Captain Sun Ho Park watched the main screen, where hundreds of alien ships surrounded his vessel. The Kryvacs fleet had stopped firing their weapons, probably wondering why nothing they did seemed to hurt the human ship. 5 minutes until the quantum full drive is ready, Jai 1 Kim reported from his tactical station. His voice was steady, but there was excitement in his eyes. They were about to do something that had never been done before in the history of space warfare. Sun Ho pressed a button on his chair. "Engineering. Status report." "Everything is running perfectly, Captain," Chief Engineer Han Gyeol Ryu answered. "The hull is holding more energy than we ever tested in the simulations, but all systems are stable. The quantum full drive is processing it all beautifully." This was the moment of truth. The Remembrance's special hull had absorbed enough energy from the alien attacks to power their secret weapon. Soon, they would show the Kryvacs why it was a bad idea to surround a ship they didn't understand. "Message from Earth Command," Maina Lee announced from her communication station. "Admiral Kang wants to speak with you." "Put him through," Sun Ho ordered. Admiral Do-hun Kang's face appeared on a small screen next to the captain's chair. The admiral looked tense but hopeful. "Captain Park, our sensors show the Kryvacs fleet has completely surrounded you. Are you certain this is wise?" "Yes, sir," Sun Ho replied confidently. "They've given us all the energy we need, and they're in the perfect position. When we activate the quantum full drive, we'll catch their entire fleet at once." The admiral nodded slowly. "The President and the Joint Chiefs are watching. The whole Earth Defense Force is standing by. If this works, we'll finally be able to push the Kryvacs out of human space forever." "It will work, sir," Sun Ho assured him. The scientists and engineers who designed this ship knew what they were doing. The Kryvacs think they're looking at a simple box, but they're really looking at humanity's greatest achievement. "Very well, Captain. Good luck. Earth Command out." As the admiral's face disappeared from the screen, Young Mesong spoke up from the pilot station. "Captain, the enemy ships are moving again. They're tightening their formation even more." Sun Ho walked to the front of the bridge to look at the main screen. The Kryvac ships were indeed moving closer, their circle getting smaller around the Remembrance. Their beautiful, shiny hulls gleamed in the starlight. They still looked powerful and dangerous, but soon that wouldn't matter. They think they need to get closer to hurt us, Jai-1 said, shaking his head. They still don't understand what they're dealing with. 3 minutes until the quantum fold drive is ready, the computer announced in its calm voice. Mina turned in her chair. Captain, I'm picking up a lot of signals from the enemy ships. They're arguing with each other. Some of their captains want to retreat, but the fleet commander is ordering them to stay. He's saying they can't let one human ship make them look weak. Sun Ho smiled. Pride was a dangerous thing in battle. The Krivaks were so proud of their advanced technology and their perfect tactics that they couldn't accept being beaten by what looked like a primitive human vessel. Their pride was making them stay right where the humans wanted them. 2 minutes until quantum fold drive is ready, the computer announced. All hands, Sun Ho called over the ship's speakers. This is the captain. In 2 minutes, we'll activate the quantum fold drive. Everyone needs to be ready. What we're about to do has never been done before. The simulations say it will work, but this is the real thing. Whatever happens, I want you all to know how proud I am of this crew. We're about to make history. He could almost feel the excitement running through the ship. Every crew member had trained hard for this moment. They all knew what was at stake. If they succeeded, they would save Earth and all its colonies. If they failed, but failure wasn't an option they were willing to consider. 1 minute until quantum fold drive is ready, the computer said. Captain, Mina called out suddenly. The Krivaks fleet commander is sending another message. He's demanding to speak with you. Sun Ho thought for a moment. Put him on screen. Let's hear what he has to say. The alien commander's face appeared on the main screen. All 4 of his eyes were wide with what looked like a mixture of anger and fear. Human captain, he said, his voice rough, our sensors are detecting a strange energy buildup in your ship. What are you planning? You wanted to see what our primitive technology could do. Sun Ho replied calmly. In less than a minute, you'll find out. I suggest you order your ships to retreat while you still can. The alien commander's gray skin darkened with rage. You dare to threaten us again. We have you surrounded. Your ship cannot escape. 30 seconds until quantum fold drive is ready, the computer announced. Sun Ho smiled at the alien commander. Who said anything about escaping? We want you right where you are. The alien's eyes widened even more as he finally began to understand that something was very wrong. All ships, fall back, he shouted. Maximum speed. Get away from. End transmission. Sun Ho ordered, and the alien's face disappeared from the screen. Yumma, lock our position. Ji-1, prepare to activate the quantum fold drive. Mina, send the final signal to Earth Command. Tell them it's starting. 15 seconds until quantum fold drive is ready, the computer said. The bridge crew watched as the Krivak ships tried to move away, but they had positioned themselves too close together. Their ships were getting in each other's way as they tried to turn around. Their perfect battle formation had become a trap. 10 seconds. Hull energy levels at maximum, Jai-1 reported. All systems ready. 5 seconds. May God have mercy on their souls, Sun Ho whispered. Quantum fold drive ready. Activate, Sun Ho ordered. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then a soft green light began to spread out from the Remembrance's hull. It moved slowly at first, then faster and faster, creating a huge bubble of glowing energy around the ship. The bubble grew larger and larger, reaching out toward the surrounding Krivaks fleet. Quantum field is stable, Jai-1 reported excitedly. It's working exactly like in the simulations. The green bubble of energy continued to expand. When it touched the first Krivak ships, something strange happened. The ships didn't explode or break apart. They simply seemed to fade away, like they were being erased from space itself. What's happening to them? Yumma asked, watching in amazement. The quantum fold drive isn't destroying their ships, Sun Ho explained. It's creating a pocket of folded space, a bubble of twisted reality that exists outside our normal universe. As each ship touches the bubble, it gets pulled into that pocket. They're not being destroyed, they're being stored. More and more Kryvax ships disappeared into the green energy field. Some tried to fire their weapons at it, but their energy beams just made the field stronger. Some tried to run, but the field was moving too fast. Within minutes, nearly half the alien fleet had vanished. Quantum field holding steady at maximum size, Jai-1 reported. 200 ships have been captured so far. The rest are still trying to escape. They can't escape, Sunho said quietly. The field is too large now. Their engines aren't fast enough to outrun it. The bridge crew watched in silence as the rest of the Kryvax fleet disappeared into the green energy field. These aliens had attacked Earth's colonies, killed thousands of innocent people, and thought humans were primitive and weak. Now they were learning just how wrong they had been. Final count. Jai-1 announced several minutes later. 312 enemy ships captured. The quantum field is stable. We can maintain it as long as we need to. Sunho nodded slowly. Send word to Earth Command. Tell them Phase 3 is complete. The Kryvax fleet is contained. As Mina sent the message, the bridge crew began to realize what they had just done. They had captured an entire alien battle fleet without destroying a single ship or killing anyone. The Kryvax vessels and their crews were all alive, just trapped in a pocket of folded space that their weapons and technology couldn't escape from. What happens to them now? Yumei asked softly. That will be up to Earth's government to decide. Sunho answered. We can maintain this quantum field for months if we need to. The Kryvax are trapped but safe. Maybe now they'll be willing to talk about peace instead of just attacking our colonies. The green energy field continued to glow around the ship, holding hundreds of alien vessels in its strange embrace. The HSS Remembrance, the ship they had called a Coffin, had just changed the course of the war. And it had done it not with superior weapons or better shields, but with human ingenuity and the understanding that sometimes the simplest solution could be the most effective one. Take us home, Yumei, Sunho ordered. Nice and slow. We don't want to disturb our passengers. As the Remembrance began its journey back to Earth, its crew knew they had just made history. They had proven that humanity didn't need fancy ships or aggressive designs to be powerful. Sometimes all you needed was a simple box and the imagination to think outside it. 3 days had passed since the HSS Remembrance captured the Kryvax fleet. The human ship moved slowly through space, carrying its unusual cargo back to Earth. The green energy field of the quantum fold still glowed around the ship, holding 312 alien vessels in its strange embrace. Captain Sunho Park sat in his office next to the bridge, reading reports on his computer screen. Every hour, scientists and military leaders from Earth sent him new questions about the quantum fold field and the captured ships. Everyone wanted to know more about humanity's amazing victory. Someone knocked on his door. Come in, he called. Mina Lee entered, holding a datapad. Captain, we finally translated all the messages being sent between the captured Kryvax ships. I think you'll want to see this. Sunho took the pad and read through the translations. The messages showed how the alien crews were reacting to their situation. Some were angry, some were afraid, but most were simply confused. They couldn't understand how their advanced technology had been defeated by what looked like a simple human ship. Have they tried to break out of the quantum field? He asked. Mina nodded. Several times, but their weapons just make the field stronger, like before. Some of their scientists are starting to understand what we did. They're actually impressed. The captain smiled. This was what Earth's leaders had hoped for. The Kryvax needed to learn that humanity wasn't as primitive as they thought. Maybe now they would be willing to talk about peace instead of just trying to take over human colonies. Captain to the bridge, Jai-1 Kim's voice came through the speaker. We're approaching Earth defense space. Sunho stood up. Time to show everyone what we caught, he said to Mina. They'd walked to the bridge together. The bridge was busy with activity. Through the main screen, they could see Earth in the distance, a beautiful blue and white ball floating in space. Around the planet, hundreds of ships from Earth's defense fleet were gathering to meet them. Message from Admiral Kang. Young Ma Song announced from her pilot's station. They're ready for the demonstration. Sun Ho sat in his captain's chair. For 3 days, they had kept the captured Kryvax fleet completely hidden inside the quantum fold field. Now it was time to show Earth's leaders exactly what the Remembrance had accomplished. G1, begin field reduction sequence, he ordered. Nice and slow. Let's give them a good show. Ji-1 worked at his tactical station, carefully adjusting the quantum fold field. The green energy bubble around the ship started to become transparent. Slowly, the shapes of the captured Kryvax ships began to appear, like ghosts becoming solid. Look at the Earth ships, Young Mai said softly. Through the main screen, they could see the Earth defense fleet reacting. Ships were turning to get better views. Everyone wanted to see the entire Kryvax battle fleet trapped in the Remembrance's quantum field. Admiral Kang is calling, Maina reported. Put him on screen, Sun Ho ordered. The Admiral's face appeared, and his eyes were wide with amazement. Captain Park, the images we're seeing. Are all those ships really in there? Yes, sir, Sun Ho replied proudly. 312 Kryvax vessels, including their flagship. All of them trapped but unharmed in our quantum fold field. Their weapons and engines still work, but they can't affect anything outside the field. They're completely contained. The Admiral shook his head in wonder. When the scientists first proposed this idea, many of us thought it was impossible. A ship that could create its own pocket of space and trap other ships inside it. It sounded like science fiction, but you and your crew have proved it works better than anyone imagined. The Kryvax thought the same thing, sir, Sun Ho said. They saw our ship's simple design and thought we were primitive. They never considered that we might be thinking in completely new ways. Speaking of the Kryvax, the Admiral said, his face becoming serious, their government has finally responded to our messages. After hearing about what happened to their fleet, they want to talk. Real diplomatic talks, not just demands for surrender. This was the news everyone had been hoping for. The Kryvax had always refused to negotiate, believing their superior technology made them unbeatable. Now they had learned that technology wasn't everything. The President wants to use this situation to force a peace treaty, the Admiral continued. We'll offer to release their ships and crews in exchange for them leaving human space and signing a non-aggression pact. What do you think, Captain? Can your quantum field hold them long enough for negotiations? The field is stable, sir, Sun Ho answered. We can maintain it for months if we need to. And every time they try to break free, their own energy just makes the field stronger. They're not going anywhere until we let them out. The Admiral smiled. Excellent. I'll inform the President. Oh, and Captain, she wants to give you and your crew medals. The ceremony will be in 3 days. You've all earned them. After the Admiral's face disappeared from the screen, the bridge crew looked at each other proudly. They had trained so hard for this mission, and now they had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. Captain, Maina called out, the Kryvax fleet commander is asking to speak with you again. He sounds different this time. Sun Ho nodded. Put him on screen. Let's hear what he has to say now. The alien commander appeared on the screen. His 4 eyes weren't angry anymore. Instead, he looked thoughtful, almost respectful. Captain Park, the alien said, my scientists have been studying what your ship did to us. They say you've created something they thought was impossible, a controllable fold in space-time itself. How did your people develop such technology? We had good motivation, Sun Ho replied. Your attacks on our colonies forced us to think in new ways. We knew we couldn't match your fleet ship for ship, so we had to find a different solution. Sometimes the simplest answer is the best one. The alien commander was quiet for a moment. We thought humans were primitive because your ships looked simple. We thought you were weak because you didn't build beautiful warships like ours. We were wrong. Your people have created something our best scientists never even imagined. Perhaps we have much to learn from each other." This was a big change from the proud, angry alien who had mocked their ship just a few days ago. The quantum fold trap hadn't just captured the Kryvax fleet. It had captured their attention and respect. "My government wants to talk about peace," the alien commander continued. "Will you release us if we agree to stop attacking your colonies?" "That will be up to Earth's leaders to decide," Sun Ho answered. "But yes, I think we can work something out. We never wanted this war. We just wanted to be left alone to develop in our own way." The alien nodded slowly. "We understand that now. Your Coffin ship has taught us an important lesson about judging others by appearances. When we are released, I will make sure my people never forget this lesson." After the alien commander's face disappeared from the screen, Sun Ho looked around at his crew. They had done more than just win a battle. They had changed how one of the most powerful alien races in the galaxy saw humanity. "Take us into orbit, Yummy," he ordered. "Nice and steady. Let's give everyone a good look at our prize." As the Remembrance moved toward Earth, ships from the defense fleet fell into formation around it. Through the transparent quantum field, the captured Kryvax vessels glowed in the sunlight. They still looked beautiful and dangerous, but now they were proof that fancy technology wasn't everything. Sometimes the simplest design, used in a clever way, could overcome the most advanced weapons. "Message from Earth Command," Mina announced. "They're starting the peace talks tomorrow. They want us to keep the Kryvax fleet in our quantum field until the treaty is signed." Sun Ho smiled. "Tell them we'll be happy to provide the negotiating room. After all, our simple box has turned out to be the perfect container for peace talks." The crew laughed at his joke. They had come so far from the days when the Kryvax mocked their ship's design. Now the aliens were learning that you should never judge a ship by its shape, especially if that ship was built by humans who had learned to think outside the box by putting their best ideas inside one. "Captain," Jai-1 said suddenly, "look at the quantum field readings. The Kryvax ships, they're not trying to break free anymore. They're just waiting quietly." "Of course they are," Sun Ho replied. "They finally understand what we knew all along. Sometimes the simplest solution is the most powerful one. We didn't need fancy designs or aggressive weapons. We just needed a good idea and the courage to try something new." As Earth grew larger in their view, the crew of the Remembrance knew they had changed the course of human history. Their Coffin ship had not only trapped an alien fleet, it had opened the door to peace, and they had done it all with a simple box that proved human ingenuity was the most powerful weapon of all.